Let's do this poop.
Welcome to Increase, where it is my task to increase, illustrate, and inundate you with information, knowledge, and overall help cause you to think. And I'm your host, Alpheus Gibbs Sr. Hey, what's going on, good people? Appreciate you guys having patience with me on today. This is Increase. I am your host, Alpheus Gibbs Sr., and this is episode 15 of the podcast. So today we just want to talk really briefly. I don't want to hold everyone up. I know, normally we're at 1 o'clock, but we've really been having some technical difficulty with our streaming. And so I definitely want to just apologize for that. And just let you guys know that I appreciate you for your patience, and I appreciate you guys for just hanging out with your boy, hanging out with me every Monday and Friday. And so today is really, special. Tomorrow's my birthday, but more so to the point, just really thinking about, going into the future, things that I want to do. And so nothing more so speaks to today than the topic of today, and that is thirst for more. Do you have a thirst for more? Do you have a thirst and a hunger for greater, for more? One thing I love the most is like watching YouTube, and again, one of my favorite people to watch on YouTube is CT Fletcher, and he has this documentary that he did, which is called my in so many words, is really about his hunger, his thirst, his drive for greater. So hey, thank you guys so much for joining in with me. And in his documentary, he's really talking about just his beautiful obsession is the name of the documentary, and his obsession is working out every day. It's not even about say getting bigger muscles or anything of that nature. It's really just a part of his life, a part of his day. And that's what I want to ask you guys. What is something that's going on in your life right now that you just have a thirst and a hunger for? What is it that drives you each and every day, no matter what robs you of sleep, but you're not complaining about it because you have such a thirst and a love for it and an appreciation for it. And so as you get older and as things happen in your life, things always like it changes. It begins to adjust. It begins to, move around a lot. And I thought about that even when it came to myself and how even myself just wanting more, wanting to see myself in greater light and putting myself in positions and in places where I got information that I possibly would not have heard if I really didn't have that drive and that hunger for it. One thing is for certain, and that is when you really have a desire for a thing, you will move heaven and earth to get it. You will do anything possible to be in that arena, to receive, to hear, whatever it is. And so that's even where I am, even with myself. There are some things that I kind of just been playing around with. I really didn't put a whole lot of stock into it, mainly because I just didn't think I was capable of doing it. And then I started to really look at things that I've already accomplished in my life. And I'm like, if I've already accomplished that, then why can't I accomplish this? And so, if I could say anything to you on this Friday, you know, and that is increase your hunger for those things that is going to benefit you in the long run. Omit the instant gratification and really go after that long term thing. And not even just so much as going after that thing, but really falling in love with the process. I know it's easier said than done sometimes, just really enjoying the process, because sometimes in the process it gets rough, sometimes in the process it gets lonely, sometimes it gets frustrating, it gets disheartening, but it's in the process that you really develop and become who it is that you have ultimately desired to be. If you want to be a millionaire, that's great to have that in the bank, but it's something else to have gone through the process in such a way that even if you lose it, you're able to get it back again. That no matter what comes your way, no matter what kind of trial or tribulation that try to throw you off your game, that you're such in the process and you've allowed yourself to grow and mature that you're able to bounce back and bounce back even harder. Be able to take what you've learned and not only apply it, but then even share with others so that they themselves can meet you at the top as you're striving to get to that level. Your thirst for more is not just about material things, but it's truly about achieving that next level in your life. Which brings me to a part that I want to share something with you. I got an early birthday gift um, from an incredible person, and I look at him like he's a biological brother to me, but also it came from a company that I stand behind, I fully believe in, and it's such a blessing to even know who they are on a personal level. And so I want to share this with you guys. I hope you guys can see it pretty good. I can see it in the camera. But this shirt means more to me than a lot of people even realize. Not just who created it, but also what it says, what it stands for. And I think a lot of times we're doing things and we really don't know what we stand for. We don't know what it stands for, and we're not able to put our full stock into it. What sort of things that you're working with, that people you're working around, that you stand behind and you believe in? Because right now I'm at a place in my life where I'm tired of just having connections just to have connections, knowing people just to know them, but I wouldn't put any kind of stock into them. I wouldn't want to be a part of some of the things that they're a part of, not because I'm not into those things, but they're just shady kind of people. And so as you strive to have more and to achieve more in life and to help as many people as possible, you want to make sure that even your connections, as you're doing all of these things and maneuvering through life, that those connections that you have are meaningful, and that they fully represent who you are and what you stand for. And one thing is for certain: if you're not standing for anything of good, then you're really just laying down and allowing anything to happen. And so in our increase, you guys are family. So in our increased family, we want to make sure that we're not just increasing in material things and not increasing in our integrity and in our character. And we're also increasing not only in those two areas, but even increasing in our consciousness of the things that's around us, because people begin to associate you with the people who you hang around, because the people who you hang around is also a reflection of your thought process. They're a reflection of your innermost secrets. There's a reason why certain jokes hit you and you laugh at them versus some jokes that you hear that don't make you laugh. And it's outside of, it's not just funny or I find it, I'm just in a silly mood, but there's something inside of you that resonates with that joke that causes you to laugh or cause you not to laugh. And there are things that we're thirsting after, that we're striving after, that we're pushing for, that are not all that they're a reflection of who we are internally. That part of you that nobody sees, it resonates with you in a level and in a manner that everybody else possibly don't know anything about. And so as you do your inner work, as you continue to get rid of those habits that are detrimental to you, and you're getting yourself in a position where you're learning more about this world, whether it's in politics, whether it's the food that you eat, whether it's in products and services that you utilize, the more you begin to increase in that knowledge and understand what it took to get to you from where it is, the more you really have to begin to pay attention to the process as a whole and those who are connected to it. Because at the end of the day, all of it is a reflection of you. And so if I'm striving after something that is worthless, that is meaningless, or that is causing others pain and sorrow, or that is depleting resources from a particular area, then as me supporting it or as you supporting it, you're just as guilty as the people who have created it, even though you're not the person who are putting your hands to doing it. And so this whole thing that we call life, and I heard Dick Gregory say this in an interview. He said, God put you here for a reason and for a purpose, and he brought you here and you were pure and you were clean. And it's your job to now get back to him exactly the way he brought you to this world, or as close to it as possible. And so as we're striving for all of these things, and you look up and you realize, I didn't pour into the people who were around me. I really didn't share what I've learned in my kids. I really didn't put forth a valiant effort in my friendships and things of that nature. And so you have to look at that and go, what did I do with my time? What was I really striving for? Because even though I was blessed and I helped a few people, could I have helped more? Could I have done more with the resources that I had, the connections that I had, than what I did? Or are you going to look back over yourself, look back over your life and go, everything that was given to me, I eventually figured it out and began to be a blessing to those that were around me. I really, those friends who were close to me, I poured into them as much as possible. My children, as much as I gave them things, I also gave them wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, not only of how to navigate this world, but also just how to discover themselves and to see life more beautiful and more clear than I did when I was their age. And it's so much to this world that we're in, and so much to the assignment that God has given us. And when you look at it from that perspective, you begin to understand nobody can use me then. You can't use me because I'm here. God put me here as a gift to those who he put in my pathway. And if you abuse the relationship that I have with you, then it's really a shame on you. And you really fumbled the ball. You really messed up really bad. But if you really utilize what I had and what God used me for, then you were blessed and you were able to pay it forward and be a blessing to somebody else. I believe that God just don't give us things just to give it to us, but everything has an assignment. And sometimes we're not obsessed about our assignment. We're obsessed about what other people's assignment is. We're more excited about what other people are doing more than you're excited about the work that you're doing. And if we got more excited about the work that we're doing, it wouldn't matter if people didn't support us. It wouldn't matter if everyone didn't come and show up, because you're so happy in doing what you're doing that eventually those who is going to benefit from what you put out there, they're going to come, they're going to hear it, they're going to experience it, and from that experience, then you're going to affect the next generation and generations to come. History is recorded after it's happened, not while it's going on. While it's going on, what you hear is critics, what you hear is criticism, what you hear is a few cheers here and there. What you hear is the pain. What you hear is the distance of people walking away and people coming in. But it's not until the thing is over that people begin to write about what all took place. And they begin to write about their experiences and how it felt and what truly took place, what their eyes saw, what their ears heard. And so I believe that today, I know we're late, and I apologize for that again, but I want to encourage you to be obsessed about your assignment and what you've been called to do, what you're here on this earth to do. Get obsessed about the people who you have, that you're around, and that you have in your life, those who you have influence over, sharing with them unadulterated, unapologetically, exactly how you feel and what you think, because there's nothing like being around a person, and it's not until they dead and gone you hear that how much they loved you and how much they appreciated you and how they talked about you to so many different people. You begin to ask why they didn't share that when they were living. How come I couldn't hear those words out of their mouth? And I think that we do people a disservice because we're more obsessed about taxes. We're obsessed over who's living a life that we agree with or disagree with. We're obsessed about the latest trends and things that's happening in the world. But the very people that we're around, we kind of just we acknowledge that they're there, but we really don't celebrate them and not only give them their flowers, but allow them to hear with their own ears and experience with their own heart exactly how you feel and exactly what it is that how much they are important to your life and to your legacy. Our thirst for more should supersede that of things and really get to the heart of a matter. I think that if we really shared how we felt, things that we have seen and experienced, that we would be able to pull people literally out of dark places and really begin to let them know that you're appreciated. I think a lot of times we're so busy listening to people talk about each other that it distorts our vision and our view of individuals instead of people experiencing it for themselves. And so, because of that, we have shallow relationships and shallow friendships, in that we're not able to truly see the gem that's inside of people. Because even in the worst of people, there is some good there. There was some great intentions. And it's not until they've been placed in certain situations that they begin to fold and buckle, or they begin to find themselves in a place where they're just going to indulge in the greed and in the selfishness that others have done before them. Maybe Maybe I'm ignorant in that area, or I could be onto something. I've experienced being around individuals who you would consider to be the most vilest of people, but when you get them and you begin to talk to them, there's a method to their madness. And even though the way that they operate and move was not the best that was being done, you begin to hear their stories and you begin to understand the origins of the way that they think and the way that they move. And you begin to not only pity them, but you begin to feel sad for them. Because again, there's some good even in the worst of people. But their thirst and their desire and their obsession was perverted and was wrong. and went into a different direction. But you who are trying to help others and trying to see the good and trying to make the world a better place by changing your household, by changing your neighborhood, by bringing change to your community, you'll begin to see exactly the heart of things, and you can also begin to change or begin to bring about change in people's lives just by simply going out and doing all that you know to do, sharing your experiences, letting people know your obsession, your guilty obsession. What are you obsessed about? I'm obsessed about just reading. I believe that reading literacy needs to go up to a higher level. I believe that we're not reading to our potential, and because we're not reading to our potential, our understanding is not to the level that it needs to be. And so we're looking around at a generation whose understanding and whose level of intellect is not to the level that it should be, especially with all of the technology that is out here available to them. So this generation has more access to information, but their comprehension level is completely not where it should be. It's not on the same level. So I believe that if we begin to share our obsessions to things, our appreciation for just history itself, or share your obsession to cooking or whatever your obsession may be, as long as it is something that's going to benefit society and bring your fellow man together, that we overcome our differences and our obstacles and begin to treat each other as someone who is worthy of love and appreciation and respect. I think that we'll begin to see things in our own communities and our surrounding areas to begin to change. Change happens when someone gets fed up enough to say, I'm tired of seeing things the way that they are, and I want to see something new. It's one thing to talk it, it's something else to do it. When you're obsessed with a thing, it begins to it seems like it consumes you. It seems like it robs you, but it really doesn't. Because what it does is it brings you access and openness to avenues and arenas that you never even thought were possible. I think just maybe, just maybe, there's a chance in which what we are seeing today can begin to turn around. I'm not saying we're going to eradicate all kind of violence and all of this other stuff, all of the mayhem that's happening in the world. But I believe that if we begin to grow and mature as a people, that we'll begin to see great change in pockets and in areas. And it won't be so rampant and so wild and so free, because there's some areas that it just not allowed. It's not celebrated. I think we celebrate violence too much. I think we celebrate people's downfall too much. It's sad to see people excited and happy and joyous at the pain of another. I think we've become obsessed like the Romans with things that we know are not edifying to society as a whole, that we just let anything and everything happen. If we studied history and really begin to look at it, we would understand that to have a loose system and government and people is the very makeup and DNA of a destruction of a society. I want to encourage you all as we go into the weekend and as you get ready to enjoy, the days to come. Begin to ask yourself, what am I really obsessed with? What is this one thing that I find myself always looking at, always doing? And then the next follow-up question is this helping society? Is this building and maturing me or growing me? Am I able to take this bit of whatever and share it with someone and they mature, be happy, joyous, or whatever? Or is this something that I really need to bring change in my life? I need to cut it out, need to get rid of it, whatever, because it's something that is not beneficial. It's not helpful, but it's really destructive. Lord knows we don't have a lot of time. Time is the one commodity that we can't get back once it's gone. It's the one thing in life that once it leaves, that's it. You can't turn back the hands of time. Time just continues to move forward. And for many, there's more time behind than in front. So you need to maximize your time. You need to get laser focused on the vision, the call, the ministry, the business, the marriage, the rearing of your children, whatever. Get dialed in and get focused on that. Begin to work at it as best you can, because you don't have as much time as you think you do. Your thirst for more now has to supersede the thirst for things. The more is the seeking of peace and joy, happiness, information to be shared, experiences to be felt. You know, it's in those things. It's a cliche but it's true. You show me your friends and I'll show you your future. If you look at the 5 people who you talk to every day, who's the first person you talk to and who's the last person you talk to before you close your eyes and go to bed? And look at those people, look at their life, look at what they've accomplished. You can gauge about how far you're going to go, and you can also gauge the weak areas in your life just by looking at those things, because those are the things, those are the people who are feeding the thoughts that goes in your mind. They're the ones who are persuading you in how you move and operate. They're the ones who you lean on to get a sidebar approval from, whether it's something you should pursue in life or not. Whether you want to agree with it or not, just think about it. When something good is about to happen, who do you call? What are their typical responses? And what is your response? When you get ready to do a thing, who's the person or the people that you call? What are their responses? And then what is your response? And I guarantee you, a lot of times you would have accomplished more if there were key people in your life you had switched out, that you didn't talk to or that you didn't hang around. It's not even science. It's just history. It's something that's been said and proven. When you're around people who are go-getters, when you're around people who are striving for greater, their energy, their mindset rubs off on you, even if it's but a little bit. If you're around people who are fearless and they challenge you to be fearless, you find yourself doing things and being in places that you would have never gone to on your own. But because you're around them, they will push you and they will coach you into doing it. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. But in either case, their obsession for adventure and for laughter and for joy or for whatever, whether it's that or it's something bad, and their thirst and desire, to rebel against the law or whatever, puts you in an arena, in a position where you find yourself just doing those things just like them. And even when you're not around them, you slowly but surely begin to think like them. And here's the thing, you start talking like them. So get around some people who are thirsty, who have a guilty obsession for the greater, for the better, for the maturity, and watch how your life begins to change. Watch how things begin to be activated in you. You want to get creative, get around some more creative people. Get around some people who think outside the box. Get around some people who color outside the lines. Get around people who don't think like the rest of society, but they themselves challenge the norms, and they do it in such a manner that it brings about um a end goal that is good, that is prosperous, that is happy, that says, you know what, I'm proud of this work. I would have never done it this way, but I had some great influence. I had some people who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And because of them and their coaching and because of their love and their support, I'm able to go out and I was able to create this and I was able to make this happen. And that's really the name of the game. So take this word with you, take this, this increase episode 15 with you, listen to it again, share it with a friend, but let them know, hey, my guilty obsession is to get out of debt, or my guilty obsession is truly to be happy. And so I can no longer be a dump site for, your drama or for whatever, because I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing to laugh. I'm choosing to enjoy my life going forward. And so I'm making some choices and I'm making some changes and I'm setting healthy boundaries and I'm pushing toward a greater and a better me. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Truly it's an honor and a privilege to have this podcast. And I'm thankful that it's growing and people are talking about it. And so I'm just elated at all that is taking place. And so I'm going to see you guys on Monday. I'm going to share with you on Monday, how um my weekend went, how I celebrated my birthday. Thank you. I want a special shout out to my wife. She's an amazing person, amazing woman. And she's really like, I was like, dang, she's celebrating my birthday harder than I am. But when you have someone who just celebrates life and she wants everyone to feel appreciated and loved, it can't help but to push you to do those same things. And so I just want to send that special shout out to her. I love you. Love you, Tiff. I appreciate you. I can't wait to spend, 40 more and some, however long the Lord allows us to be together, and to celebrate birthdays together, not just mine, but yours as well. And you guys have an amazing weekend and we will talk soon. Peace.